Feminists who consider themselves Christians and Christians who consider themselves feminists may find themselves confronting a little cognitive dissonance if they visit the website biblicalgenderroles.com. The site, which is run by a layperson who goes by the pen name of Larry Solomon, is a blog which uses direct quotes from the Bible to answer everyday questions about the roles of genders in society. Solomon admits he's not a theologian. However, his ability to justify his misogynistic views by citing a biblical chapter and verse is impressive. In one post entitled "How a Husband Can Enjoy Sex That Is Grudgingly Given by His Wife," he explains how a wife who is not in the mood for sex may not have a biblically justifiable right to refuse coitus if the husband really wants it, and that as the husband, he has the right to insist or even take gratification and pleasure in the act regardless of his wife's attitude. The post couches the blunt subtext by acknowledging that God would certainly prefer that both parties enjoy it, and by noting that the husband does have a responsibility to try and get his woman motivated, but if all else fails, Solomon notes that the Bible is clear and eternally consistent. Says Solomon, "Sometimes we have to work around the sinful behavior of our wives, and this will be one of those times." For almost 2 decades, the Tablighi Jamaat sect of Islam has been pushing plans to build what is being called a mega-mosque on a site in East London near the Olympic Park. The sect, which does not believe in integration of Islam with other iterations of society, wanted the building so that their members would have a location to call their own. However, the conservative Muslims have been stymied every step of the way by the conservative non-Muslims who already populate the area. Particular opposition has come from far-right extremist groups like BNP and EDL, although mainstream conservatives and independents also oppose the building, which would have been 3 times larger than St. Paul's Cathedral, with space for up to 11,300 worshippers. The facility, which would be called Abbey Mills Markaz, or the Riverine Center, would have a main building with segregated prayer halls and a smaller separate hall. Councillors in the village of Newham initially refused permission for the mosque in 2012 by a vote of 8-0. So the planners filed an appeal and an inquiry led to an official report last January. However, ministers tabled it and refused to issue a decision until October 26th, when the proposal was once again rejected. Saudi Arabian actor Abdul Aziz Al-Qassar, who resides in Kuwait, was recently arrested after his appearance at a mall in Riyadh received too much attention from his female fans. Qassar, who is a big user of social media, had asked his fans via Snapchat to recommend a mall that he might go to. It apparently didn't occur to him, or so he maintains, that this would encourage his fans to attempt to see him there. In fact, they turned up in such numbers that the Commission for the Promotion of Virtue and the Prevention of Vice, a religious body that has legal authority in the country, became concerned. As he arrived at the mall, the fans, women in particular, were there waiting and wanting to have their picture taken with him. This was seen as a violation of the country's strictest taboos against relations between the sexes. Al-Qassar was detained and his cell phone taken from him. He was later released on bail and his cell phone returned. He claims that he did not plan this event, but it reminds us at the Infidel that, regardless of local customs and laws, use of social media can have unintended consequences. Also a result of the event, his popularity on Snapchat has only increased. He remains free pending an investigation by the authorities.